okay, you're taking a like night school and
Yeah, no, I'm in night classes. I'm going after. I've just got to get my associate's degree right now, and then, on to a bachelor's from there. I think I'm going to get some certifications in between there, but yeah, I started working right after high school. I never went to college or anything like that, and starting to hold me back now. So.
Well, I started working right after as well, and then I went to college for 2 years later. But so I'd actually worked for a couple of years before I went to college as well.
And I think that's good for a person. You learn.
Yeah.
Real world's a lot different than school. So.
Oh, for sure.
It's important to get that experience.
Oh, I certainly had a different perspective in school than a lot of my classmates did. A lot of them were there. They were 18 years old, and they were there because they had nothing better to do, kind of deal.
Yeah, and I told my wife too. I mean, I'm honestly, it's harder to do it now, but I'm glad I did it this way and I didn't go right after high school, because I would have been a piss poor student if I'd have went right after high school. I mean, I was just so tired of school at that time.
See, that's the way I look at it as well. I'm telling you, I would recommend, and my daughter's 13 now, I'm going to recommend to her that she takes 1 year off in between.
Yeah.
And then, I think that 1 year would make a big difference.
Yeah. And I mean, if nothing else, just having that little bit of work experience makes you take school a lot more serious, I think.
Yep. I agree.
But all right, man. I don't want to take your whole afternoon up. I'll go ahead and start asking you some questions if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay. So, what is your job title?
So, my job title on my business card is a Director of Strategic Business Development.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm part of the management team of the company, so I guess the director, so management / director, or however you want to put that in there. But on my business cards, I have Director of Strategic Business Development, because a lot of my cards that I hand out is based, on customer relations and.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you do a lot more than just that, right? Like it's more than.
It's a pretty small company, and I've been with the company since. Well, I guess you even had a question here. Question number 3. I've been with the company since '97. I was very young when I started, and so that means I've been there. Wow, coming this October 4th, so I'm 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks away from 21 years.
That's awesome. You don't see that a whole lot anymore. Normally, people are moving around a lot now.
Yep.
Okay.
So with that, when I started with the company, there was about 25 people total in the company, and now we're at about 110 or 115. So I've grown up with the family. I know the family very well that owns the company.
That's cool.
I'm part.
Is it still a family-owned company?
It's a family-owned, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's the way I would say it. It's family-owned, management-run. So they've hired a management team, which I'm part of. I'm actually the chair of the management team.
Mm-hmm.
To run the company, the day-to-day operation. So they don't really get involved with the day-to-day. Now, okay, well, let me rephrase it. They are actually quite involved with the day-to-day, but they're not involved with the day-to-day running of the company.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the owner will run a robot welder if that's what it takes.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, that's.
Oh, he's on the shop floor all the time.
Yeah. He still understands how to use all the equipment and go get the job done when it needs to get done.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy that will implement a new robotic weld cell or a new laser if we buy it, or he's the guy who will do it.
Wow.
Because that's where his passion and his enjoyment is in life.
Yeah.
It's very, very technical.
Yep.
So.
Well, and I mean, that's what people respect, when management will come out and work with them.
Absolutely.
You can get a guy to do anything for you if you'll just go out and work with him.
Yep, you got that right. And he spends more time on the shop floor than in the office.
That's awesome. Like I said, you don't
Yeah.
see that anymore.
No.
Okay, next question. Describe your job responsibilities.
Management. So quite involved with management of the company, I guess. So anything to do with sales and profitability, customer development.
So I mean,
Yeah.
with that, are you, doing a lot of reports and stuff all day, or is it?
Me personally,
Yeah.
yes, I do a fair bit. I have some guys that will do the reports for me.
Uh huh.
But yeah, I do a lot of my activity is reviewing reports and just I guess the status of the business where we're at in business. So I do profitability is a big part. So I review a lot of the costing and like are certain customers or projects, are they profitable? Do we need to review them? Do we need to either increase prices or come up with new ways of doing the projects? I get quite involved with that. So the whole profitability side.
Mm-hmm.
But that takes up a fair bit of my time.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's in the projects we've had with you guys. It's been a lot of you've been the guy a lot of times quoting back and forth with us and.
Yeah. So I don't do much day-to-day quoting anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I get quite involved when it comes to just, especially a key account. So GSI is part of the AGCO group.
Uh-huh.
So AGCO is our biggest, AGCO globally is our biggest customer. So I'll have my finger on the pulse. They're pretty good on kind of just how things are going,
Okay.
and so to that I'll also be a lot more involved.
Okay. Yeah. So like
But
your key customers, you spend a lot of your attention on that.
Yeah. And every aspect of a relationship, everything from making sure the customer is happy to making sure we can make money with the customer to everything basically.
Cool.
That's what pays our bills.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And then you said, for number 3, how long you been employed with this company? You said since 1997?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. How long have you been in the CNC industry?
So I've been in the kind of manufacturing since '96. So 1 year before that, pretty much.
Okay. What are the events that led to your current position?
Well, truthfully, growing with the company and the ownership. I guess, like I said, I started on the shop floor, like most of us did actually. So I operated a program and operated CNC equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, one of the owners came and asked me if I would be willing to take over all sales and marketing, basically all sales related activities. And at first I told him no. Then he just said, "You think about it," and walked away. He didn't take no for an answer. He said, "You just think about it." After I told him no.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You just think about it," and walked away. And then, wouldn't you know it, I thought about it more and more. And after a couple of months, this is when I was going through college.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was done college, or just before I was done college, I called him back and said, "You know what? I'll take it." He said, "Good." So as soon as I came back from college, that's when I took over the sales side. Then I was asked to join the management team. That's when the management team was formed, actually,
Mm-hmm.
right when I finished college as well. So I was asked to join that. So that's kind of how it led to this. So kind of growing with the company, but knowing the ownership well, and honestly, working hard. At the end of the day, working hard and being showing your boss that you're not there just to punch in and collect a paycheck. You're actually there to contribute to the company and to society.
Yeah, and that's I've noticed that too. Like I said, I've come up from being a temporary worker out here on the floor, so I can vouch for that. If you just work hard and actually give a shit about what you're doing.
Exactly. That is so key. Take ownership of what you're doing. Even if it's not your favorite job.
Mm-hmm.
Just wherever you are, take ownership of it. Make the best you can make it, and then eventually you'll have opportunities to go to where you want to. Or if it's not within the same organization, sometimes people go to other companies, and that's fine too. For me, it was within the company, and I'm very fortunate that was the case.
Yeah, and like I don't know, I've dealt with a few younger people of the younger generation now, and they're so quick to, I'm not happy, I'm just gonna quit. Well, before you quit,
exactly.
Figure out. Work on your next move, but don't just quit. Figure out what you can do. Don't. It's not a good strategy to leave a trail of bad relationships behind you.
Exactly. That's the main thing to remember. That's a very key thing, and at any time. But really, don't burn your bridges. Just don't do it. It doesn't do anybody any good if you burn your bridges.
Yep, I agree. Okay, next.
If you got to move on to a different company, it's fine, but don't burn your bridges.
Yeah. Okay, what, if anything, would you have done differently if you could write the description for your current position?
I don't know if I would. I read this question, you sent it, and I have a hard time saying I would change anything. Yes, there's some tools or some training I wish I had, or I should still take. But at the end of the day, I pretty much write my own job description.
So you'd agree with? Well, I guess if you're the one writing it, you agree with what the description of the job is. So
yeah, there's some certain expectations that ownership has of me, of course. So I can't just do whatever I feel like at the same time.
But you have a heavy influence on the things you do.
Yeah, absolutely, very much so.
Have you had any mentors?
I have. Yes. Now I've had a couple different ones. One of the guys I work with has helped me a lot. He's not officially my mentor now anymore. At the same time, he really, I learn a lot from him.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've done is I've read a lot of books or listened to lots and lots of podcasts. I probably listen to 100 podcasts a year or something on leadership and business and that kind of stuff. And so right now I don't really have a mentor, and now I'm part of a peer group. There's 5 of us in that group that get together on a fairly regular basis to just talk about business, talk about life, talk about,
kind of like a mastermind.
Yeah.
Okay. So earlier in your career, did you have mentors at the company?
Well, again, exactly when I started. So one of the guys that I work with, he was a bit more mature and a little bit older, so he really helped me a lot. So what I don't know. Yeah, he mentored me quite a bit in the early years. Yes.
Okay.
Trained me. Yeah.
Okay. What kind of would you suggest one of those podcasts?
Oh, for sure. There's not depends. There's a couple different ones. I've got 8 different ones that I listen to on a regular basis,
Uh-huh.
and they all are somewhat different areas, of expertise or leadership
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it. But there's one that I listen to a lot, and that is Entre Leadership. Have you ever heard of Entre Leadership?
Is that the that was a Dave Ramsey book, wasn't it? Entre Leadership?
Yeah, yes, exactly. So he doesn't host it, but it is through his organization.
Okay.
They bring a lot of different leaders on there, so he's really good. That's the host of that.
Yeah.
So they bring a lot of different leaders. Again, depends on what all you're into, but there's also John Maxwell has been over the years been a go-to guy for me on books and stuff.
Yeah. I've listened to a lot of John Maxwell. He's really good.
Yeah, and then another one that you may or may not have heard of, Robin Sharma.
I haven't heard of him. I'm gonna write that down. Robin
Sharma.
Sharma.
So he has podcasts. So Sharma is Sharma.
Okay.
So he does short podcasts. Usually they're between 10 and 13 or 14 minutes long, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But they're really inspirational. He's a very high level thinker.
Uh-huh.
So for a lot of people, it's beyond what they enjoy. But for me, I really enjoy him. He inspires me to think above the norm, so to speak.
Cool. I'll have to check him out. Have you heard of which I'm sure you have if you're in this space? You've seen some Simon Sinek stuff, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. That's his stuff's my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. He's good.
Yeah, he just thinks in a way man, blows your mind the way you think about it.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yep.
Okay. The next one is, how did you find your mentor? I guess your first one was a coworker, right?
Yeah, it was basically through work. Yeah. And then just by default, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then after that, I've had different. I've tended to go to conferences and like leadership conferences and stuff over the years. As a matter of fact, in our management team, it's a requirement to do a certain amount of professional development every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will go to conferences and read books and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Network and all that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so it says, what's the best advice your mentor has shared, or I guess more generally, just what's your best advice that you would share with someone else?
First of all, if it wasn't for people, it'd be easy to run a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the problem is, or the challenge is, people is the reason you are in business. So people are your biggest pain, but you can never survive without people.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is dealing with people. You will not always be loved by people, but you need to be respected by people if you're going to lead a team.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is respect people for who they are. But then, respect people. Basically, is what it comes down to. Because if you can't respect people, you can't at least listen to their perspective, even if you don't agree with it.
Yeah.
You don't have the ability to really harness their expertise, their strength on the team.
Yeah.
So it really is about people, whether it's your customer, your vendor, or your employees,
Yep.
your coworker, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And something I've learned over time, especially in the work world, is you really need to have that counter opinion. So, everybody loves their ideas.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks their ideas are the greatest, but unless you get a perspective other people's perspective on things. You're not rounded out as a person, or in your eyes, your ideas aren't sussed out either.
Yeah.
Even if you hate the person, you got to listen to what their opinion is.
Oh, for sure, and that's exactly my key point. Is even the people that you really you don't see eye to eye with, they still have good stuff to bring to the table.
Yeah.
So that's I guess where my respect comment comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You respect people even if you don't necessarily agree with them or love them, so to speak. You got to respect them enough to listen to them
Okay. That pretty much answers number 10 too.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay. So, what education, certificates, conferences do you suggest I need?
Well, podcast is a very good one, like we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to go to conferences, whatever that conference may be, but something that will develop you personally.
Yep.
Like, yes, let's say I don't know what you're specifically studying.
I'm just doing broad business at the moment. I'm just doing business administration. It's it's an associates of applied science and business is what I'm going for right now.
Okay, cool. So to go, there's there's many different types of conferences and education, but I would recommend, as you have time, and whether it's once every second year you go to a conference or twice a year, doesn't really matter, but go to somewhere you learn to lead a team.
Mm-hmm.
You have a team of 1 or a team of 20, doesn't really matter, or you're kind of on your own. At the end of the day, just to lead the team will help you in your personal life and your family and your kids.
Yeah.
And then also in the middle of that, also find either conferences or books that will also help you on your personal, like with personal goal setting or personal development and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Okay, and
Just
then last...
basically have an open mind or attitude of learning and read a few books, listen to a few podcasts, go to a conference every so often.
Yep.
Lots that you can learn out there.
Yeah. Okay. And then last one, what suggestions can you offer me in my career planning as a student? Is there anything... So for me, if I was going after, that director role type work, what would, what would be a good class, I guess?
Well,
probably. If we're talking about a lot of dealing with people and stuff, psychology, right?
Well, that's where actually I was going. Is I didn't have a specific college or specific course in mind, other than basically summarize what we talked about. Is learn to respect people, even if they don't necessarily like you. You respect people for who they are, and prove yourself not just to your colleagues but also to your bosses, or I guess both, that you care. You take ownership of what you've been given, whether you are in quality control, you inspect parts, or whether you're a shipper or a receiver or buyer, doesn't matter. Just do whatever you do a good job at it, so that you can be trusted with the role you have.
Yeah.
And that will help you get promotion, but also it'll just help you with be diligent with those tasks, day-to-day tasks. Will help you become a better leader in the future. There's no question.
Yeah. I would agree. Okay. Well, Alan, I appreciate your time.
Hey, no worries.
Really, really helped me out here.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out. And hey, I'm curious how your schooling goes.
Yeah, it's been great so far. I've been an AB student so far, so.
Oh, good.
Which, it's just community college right now. It's nothing, but.
Sure, that's fine.
But no, yeah, it's been a good experience so far. Like I said, I appreciate it a lot more now. And it helps. I'm GSI does a tuition reimbursement program, so
Good.
so I as long as I'm making an A or a B, I get 100% back of my tuition fees. So it's been a good motivator. And then, like I said, I'm older now. With everything else going on in my life, I take it a lot more serious now than I would have if I would have just went straight from high school. So.
Oh, for sure. There's no question.
But no, yeah.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you. And like I said, I appreciate your time and the support and all that good stuff.
No worries. We'll see you sometime soon again, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be here, or we'll be there, one of the two.
See one of the two.
Yep.
Okay, you take care. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.